Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, the host and creator of the Keith Andrew Network, and this is episode 923. Today we have two beautiful women on the show. I won't say who it is, but you'd be very surprised. Both of them are in the entertainment business. Real fast, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. Prove to them and stem out to something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, let's jump right into it.
The Sinister Sisters. I'm Alyse.
I'm Elizabeth. We just did the Keith Andrew Network show, and we were happy to do it. Keep up the good work and break those labels, Keith. Woo!
Listen, I want to ask both of you is tell our audience a little bit about your backgrounds and how you came to do what you do now.
Well, hello. We're the Sinister Sisters, based currently in Las Vegas, California.
Las Vegas, California.
That's where I forgot to wake up today.
Nevada.
Am I awake yet? Anyhow, Las Vegas, Nevada. We have started a nightlife experience here in Vegas. This is Alyse, and I'm Elizabeth, and we are the Sinister Sisters, here to bring you entertainment.
And well, coming up it was a lot of modeling, acting, entertainment, and we decided that, you know, through our collective years of being frequent bar hoppers and sometimes bar getting kicker outers, we decided to use the knowledge that we had obtained in the industry to kind of create a more unique experience than just, hey, let's go to a bar, get drunk. It's not about it's about the party and the experience more so than it is just
staring at each other or looking at a show. If you're going to look at a show, we want to make it inclusive and include all types of different people, make it fun and a little bit stupid.
Really stupid.
Yeah.
Really
stupid. So we're real good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a John Waters on acid experience.
So we're working on a few different concepts. We started something recently at the Golden Tiki here in Vegas, Nevada.
The #1 tiki bar in the United States, voted by everybody because it's that good.
It is that good. And it's quite an experience just to be there. And so we started something called Night Camp, and it does include all the campy imagery. But we also wanted to celebrate people who work in the industry here in Vegas. The industry meaning anything from the adult industry to the service industry, to the performing industry, and anyone who basically survives every weekend here in Vegas, because it can get a little bit wacky and
pretty much
difficult.
If you survive off tips, you get a discount at our events.
So we want to cater to people who really are in service in any way, shape, or form.
If you have to put up with people, you deserve to get drunk.
No, I agree. So the next question I want to ask you is what type of, you mentioned adult entertainment. So have you, now you're putting me on the spot because there's so many questions I want to ask you. Professionally, of course. So for people out there who are dealing with any types of learning disabilities, have you guys, besides me, obviously, thank you, have you ever worked with people with disabilities? And for people who have disabilities who want to follow in your footsteps, how would they go about that and work with you?
Well, absolutely. I would say Freakshow would be the first.
Yeah, I was about to say we both worked on Freakshow.
On AMC's
Freakshow. And then, you know, like even in my time as a dancer, I've worked with a lot of people with disabilities, everything ranging from like learning to physical. There was one girl, she absolutely delighted me. She did better pole work than me with one leg. I was put to shame by this woman. And it was, you know, just like seeing people kind of be the best in the industry.
It's actually the best feature is someone who has and owns their own unique qualities.
Mm-hmm.
We both have worked with circus people and in circus life, and that is the beauty of sideshow in general and
Mm-hmm.
freak show type world, is that freaks make the best performers. It's those people that can be highlighted for what makes them unique. And I think that that's the most important thing. And really, the most memorable people I've ever worked with have been those who, like, we had Penguin. And
Oh, I miss Jason.
Yeah. We have, I have friends who work in music as well, because you may know Keith. I work in the music industry, where there's a producer named Papa Wheels, and he is amazing. He's still in Hollywood doing his thing as a very prominent producer. There are a few of our friends who just I think that the more they embrace their unique qualities, the better off they are. So if they wanted to follow in our footsteps, I think we'd be better off following in theirs.
I agree with you 100%. People are ask me too when they know me from working as a cashier. I won't say where, but if you people know me, they know me. And they're like, oh, my son, my daughter has a disability. You're an inspiration. And I'm like, well, thank you. I don't like to toot my own horn. And it's like, oh, well, how can they follow you? It's like, one, you shouldn't follow me. Thank you you should use me for an inspiration. Yes. But don't follow in my footsteps. You should create your own opportunities and create your own path. My friend Raven said to me, it isn't the journey, it's the destination. Let me rephrase that. It's not the destination, it's the journey that matters.
Absolutely. And facing any adversity, I think that's definitely the case.
I actually had a very similar thing, in dancing entertainment, I've had quite a few girls go oh, I want to be you. And I'm like, okay, set your standards a little higher. And if you really do, learn how to fall up. In life, you're going to take a lot of big hits. You're going to be kicked down a lot, especially if you're different, especially if you're unique, especially if you've got anything going on that hate to say it, but the basic population just doesn't. You got to learn how to fall up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about how many times you get kicked down. It's about either turning that into an opportunity or turning that into a strength. Because there's been a lot of times where I've accidentally slipped and fallen into one industry that I just didn't expect to be in. For example, I used to do booking and catering management. And I ended up, just because of the stress of the industry, ended up having a mini stroke. And the next day I went in, I put in my resignation, and they're like, so what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh, I'm going back to adult entertainment. Because I didn't look at that as a step down. I looked at that as regaining my mental health and regaining control of my life, becoming the boss again,
Owning your own business and making your own brand and making your own mark. And something else that I think is important for anyone to learn, and that a lot of the basic population does not seem to understand, is learning from your traumas.
Mm-hmm.
And learning from your traumas, and instead of living in a post-traumatic stress,
self-induced bubble,
you do something called post-traumatic growth. Both of us have been through a number of difficult situations, perhaps put ourselves in it, perhaps ended up in situations, perhaps whatever happened. But it's learning how to work with that and move beyond it, whether the trauma was physical or emotional. And as you know, Keith, I'm also a victim service provider. So it's something that I try to teach anyone that looks to me for advice, is learning from your traumas, resolving them, and moving on and moving forward, and using what you've learned to actually go forward and fall up, as she says.
I agree with you 100%. And the more, it's going to put my foot in my mouth. It says, the last time we talked, I believe it was 2014 or 2015. It was when I did season 4, episode 300, and it will be played in the background as it was earlier.
600 episodes ago. Wow.
No, it's 300 then, and we're up to 923. So it came a long way. But the one thing I do want to promote is this June, I would love to have both of you with us. So this June 10th, about 8 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be my 9-year anniversary and I would love to have you two a part of it.
9s are always a good number. Yeah, 9s mean you're about to progress forward, which is great. So that's wonderful.
True.
We'll definitely see what we can do about June, and we'll have all sorts of new things going on.
Oh yeah.
So that's great.
We've
No,
got a lot of things in the work. It's only getting crazier from here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've mastered and embraced chaos.
Yes, that's what we try to deliver. Yes.
Well, I do have some great ideas for you guys off the air, but I want to ask you, what are people are going to make fun of me for this? I like the whole Gothic thing. So what attracted you to use that for your advantage, to use that as your character and for your image?
Embracing our darkness.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to embrace the darkness in yourself. It doesn't mean you're a miserable person. It doesn't mean you're...
We actually laugh more than anybody I know.
I think so, yeah. In order to have light, you need darkness.
Yeah.
And so it goes into our day-to-day life, into our imagery, into our sense of humor, that's for sure.
It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, if it's a part of you and it's a part of who you are, like, don't fight it, lean into it, because you ultimately are not going to get anywhere like selling yourself, promoting yourself, if you are denying like the basic part of like what makes you come alive. And actually there's this quote, and I can't remember who said it, and it was do what makes you come alive. Oh my God, now I'm forgetting it. And it was basically because the world needs people that come alive.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, don't worry. I have that effect on people.
You help them come alive.
I just make them hesitate and whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, and we can,
it's gonna bother me now that I can't remember.
Well, it'll come back.
Yeah.
It's the old.
It'll be it's the freaking ghost in the hallway. Where
the bats in the belfry. Yeah. They come around. But I guess ultimately, to answer your question, definitely the dark aesthetic has been something that's been with me since I was, I started wearing all black and scaring my parents when I was 9 and listening to metal and things like that. But
Bauhaus.
Yeah. And being gothtastic, I guess, without even realizing it.
Well,
and I wasn't because I was so morose, but I had a darkness about me, but it wasn't until a little bit later in life that I realized how important that was and being in tune with it. Plus I have I tend on the dramatic.
Oh yeah.
Well, so there's a little bit of drama.
For me, it was, this is not even me rebelling or me trying to be an edgy teenager. My mom was a goth in the 80s, and she was one of the most happy, bubbliest people I ever knew. So I never associated it. She had a really dark sense of humor. And she liked really eerie music, and she had a lot of interesting friends. But growing up, I didn't see that as abnormal because that's all I ever saw. And so for me, this is just how I was raised. Like, if I really wanted to disappoint my family, I would have listened to the Backstreet Boys. Like,
oh wait, now you're about to.
Now I'm about to.
We'll get into that in a moment.
That's another project we're working on.
The Sinister Sisters are bringing you a little bit of lighthearted pop.
Oh yeah. And goofy. Yeah, always goofy.
Gotta bring it.
Well, while we're on the subject, we're going back to the icebreakers. The first one I'm going to ask you: were you guys study nerd or party animals, and what did you major in?
What we were studying or party animals?
No, the first one is, what did you major in? And the second one, were you study nerds or party animals?
Oh, I was both.
Party animal, but somehow still managed to get through everything. I didn't really have I kind of jumped from plan to plan. So I'm a licensed cosmetologist, licensed esthetician. I went to school for political science, and I went to school for herpetology, and now I'm trying to go back to school for mortuary science, which I also probably won't finish. I just like learning, but I hate jobs.
I'm the same.
I hate real jobs.
I'm the same way. So I started in apparel manufacturing. Then I went to cosmetology, then worked in cosmetics and didn't do any training there, but it was kind of the cosmetic industry. Then went into the entertainment industry, which was its own street kind of level.
I feel like
hustle
anytime you're in the
learning.
entertainment industry, that's an
It's
example of
its own
falling
learning.
up.
Yeah,
Like you never
yeah.
mean to be there. You just hang out with some weird people, and
Right.
next thing you know, you're planning parties. Like
Yeah.
that's
Exactly. And so I did come back to that. I fell right back up into it after then again doing victim service provider training through the Department of Justice, and then did most recently medical billing and coding, which again, I like to learn, but I don't necessarily like doing it. So all the while possibly being a party person.
I've never not been a party person.
Yeah.
I've never not been a party person. Like I'm incapable of taking anything like super serial.
Yeah.
Which is why like what we're doing is so perfect for me, because like our whole goal is to basically take what already exists and put like a colorful electric neon sign on it that says "Weird lives here," you know,
And come on in.
and come on in.
So
We
let's
got the front door.
Enter whichever way you like.
so if you guys had to choose, would you say your style was more like Hot Topic? When Hot Topic was good, I don't know what the hell it
Like,
is
what
now.
the hell happened to that place?
I worked there in the early years.
I was just an assistant manager there.
Yeah, we were both there.
We were-
That was in the early years.
I was never a Hot Topic goth. I was always a thrift store kid.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, growing up, like, you know, I'm sure you can assume that a goth mom didn't really have like a high paying job. So basically it was just like, I would like scrounge up like $5 and I'd buy a whole wardrobe at Goodwill and then like decorate it out myself.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was voted most bizarre in my high school yearbook. But that was, 56 years ago, probably.
I was voted most likely to fail at the anti-prom.
Oh, good job. We're winners. We win awards.
Hey, that's more than I did.
No, I've seen those wrestling belts.
One was one job. Oh, actually, it's funny you should mention it. It's not, okay, it is, but it isn't a wrestling belt. I got it from Undisputed, do a little plug for them. Undisputed belts. And they're like, oh, if you like football, if you like baseball, we can make you any belt you want. And I'm like, well, I'm not a professional wrestler. Why not turn that into a talk show wrestling belt? So it is and it isn't a wrestling belt.
We should get some wrestling.
We should get some wrestling.
We
belts.
should probably do a wrestling match, though.
Yeah.
We kind of did last week.
We kind of did. We had our entertainers last week was
non-binary
pillow fight.
friends. Our non-binary. Ooh, someone's around. We are in the sinister manner.
We're in the sinister manner where sinister people just come and go. Hello, love.
If you're interested, I've been playing with the idea of eventually creating the KeithAndrewNetWork Women's Championship and Tag Team Championships. If you guys want to do something like that, work together.
We might. We might be able to do that.
That might be how we solve business disputes.
There we go. Yes.
Whoever the winner is gets to pick the font on the flyer.
See, we're all business at the end of the day.
It's true.
But yeah, we could. It'd be a good conflict resolution. That'd be good.
Right.
We could also tag team.
But we gotta do
it. Go up against.
We gotta do
Power
it
Rangers.
We gotta do it the Screech way.
Well, I can always work on it.
Millennial stuff.
It's millennial bullshit.
But the next one I'm going to ask you is, I'm looking at your profile. You mentioned you were a producer. What were some of your favorite producing you ever done? And would you ever want to produce something about someone who has special needs like myself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love human interest stories. Some of the favorite stuff that I've produced has been female talent, meaning I worked with Josie Cat with Fear Leader Productions, and I was associate producer on that. But she is a wonderful, prolific producer of music videos, and she's actually going back into production again, doing well, we did one called Speak Up that was about women taking over, and we did another one about
That's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah. So Close is another one that was about women killing people secretly, and then there was another one. It was it's femme fatale stuff.
As we're like looking at all the weapons on the wall.
So she's doing part 2 of the one, the video that we were banned on every platform for, called Whips and Chains. And I was I think I was prostitute number one. So
You are always number one, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. See, speaking of awards, so I was brutalized in that one, but I will be coming back to life in Whips and Chains too. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. But also, we're going to be producing some of our own content when it comes to our promotional videos.
Yeah.
We have some short film concepts that we'll be doing.
We have a full
another part
stage
of our
production that we're working on.
Yeah, we also producing a stage show is actually at the top of our list right now, and we're doing a women in prison style stage show that is considered a jukebox musical. So we've put together a number of obscure songs and woven them into a storyline, and without
The
giving
songs sell the whole story.
Absolutely. So it's 4 women in prison and the warden doing a stage show.
Mhm.
So that's the most exciting that we're doing here is our entertainment.
Yeah. And also, like, to talk about, like what you did where most of it was promoting women. We are also very woman-headed production company ourselves, or entertainment company ourselves. Like our whole main staff, everybody we work with for the most part, besides like a few amazing DJs, are all women. So it's basically like bringing women to like the top of the platform.
To our sisterhood.
Yeah, to a sisterhood.
It is a sisterhood, and it's not just us who are the sisters. We bring in the others. And so in my past and going forward, we will combine forces with other female production companies and also go forward with our own concepts.
Oh, absolutely. And I would love to be a part. I know I'm not a woman, but I would love to be a part of your journeys if that's a possibility.
Talent of all types. So it's certainly.
So the next one
is right now to start up the hearse.
Yes, I can hear it.
I don't know if you can hear this in the background, but it's so loud.
Well, I can't hear anything on my side, so you're all right. So the next
we've got the 1970s hearse, the Cadillac hearse going in the front right now.
Yeah, nice.
Did you ever do an MTV Cribs of the Sinister Manor?
Oh yeah.
We flew this one over here. Let's see. We flew in our Deadly Dollhouse and landed at the Sinister Manor. So if you ever see what it really looks like here, this is just this
is intense. Yeah. Actually, if you see our promo pictures, the ones where we're in the chapel and everything, that's our garage. That's in the garage.
Well, you do bring up 2 points from when I asked you. It's your company and production company just online, or do you have a physical place where you can actually go and walk around?
Oh, no,
this is our place of business.
This is our place of business, but there's no walking around. It's locked down.
Yes.
Well, that's another thing. Actually,
here.
I know it's gonna ask you too. I was gonna ask you too, but let me just throw one more at you. The whole pandemic, has that impacted both of your careers, or have you guys actually progressed and benefit from, being home and having more time doing what you want?
I would say it definitely helped formulate.
A little column A, a little column B. Like, thank God for OnlyFans. Right. That is the only way I survive.
Right.
But, it gave us, me at least, it gave me a lot of time to think about what I'm doing now. So like all the things that I had been working on, it was kind of like a thing, like, it's kind of like that. Does this bring you joy?
Yeah.
House it, And so there was a lot of things that, kind of brought us both together to do this. And it was just, as we were talking during the pandemic, we're like,
let's create our own fun.
Let's just do our own thing. Tired of working for other people. That sucks.
Working for other people, going to other people's events that were just, either nothing wrong with them, just not what we wanted to do. And so we wanted to create our own party. It gave us a chance to really think about it. And what's something interesting is she and I celebrated our 13th friendship anniversary on Valentine's Day, because we met 2009 Valentine's Day, and we had our first event on
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So we've actually been working at this without even realizing it for a really long time. It took us 13 years. How perfect.
Oh, perfect. 13, lucky number.
That's the one.
Now, the other thing I want to ask you, then we're turning to, don't mind me, brain fart. Another thing I want to ask you, I want you to be brutally honest, and then we can talk off the air. When I approached both of you, especially you, Elizabeth, when I approached you to be on the show for, I believe we did a double interview before, but I can't find it, but we talked a number of times. But when I reached out to you to be on the show, and you can be, and this is uncensored, you can say anything you want.
I usually do.
So what made you say, you know what, I like him, I want to work with him, and what made you bring your friend along, and how do you feel as well?
Well, I will say that I appreciate, especially, you are our first interview, and I let her know. I actually, got us together in a quick hurry, even though things have been really busy for us.
She called me during high tea.
She was at high tea. She really was.
I really was at
This girl was at high tea, terrorizing the neighborhood. And I said, okay, we need to meet up and talk to our friend Keith, because the reason that I like working with you, Keith, is because I do appreciate those same qualities we discussed. I appreciate someone who strikes out on their own, makes their own statement. My roots are in punk rock and gothic and all the subcultural different areas that all stand for the same thing. And it's what you stand for as well. So I appreciate that about you. And I wanted us to have our first interview with you because I appreciate that you break the label. So do we.
No, I agree, so 100%. What about you? How you feel?
What she said.
Sometimes we have to think with each other.
There's so many times where we'll go to say and we're saying the exact same thing. So sometimes it's just easier to go
there is a like-mindedness.
We live in each other's brains, and as scary as that sounds, it's also super productive.
It is. It gets us, we'll write a stage production. Yeah.
We wrote a stage production in 3 hours. The whole thing.
It's pretty copacetic, and we are like-minded, and so it is a matter. It's our sisterhood.
It's always nice to have a best friend. Still waiting for mine.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
I appreciate it. So I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but what is next for you guys? How can our fans and listeners get in touch with you? And I'm going to throw one more at you. It's, what is the audience that you cater to? Is it just... Oh, go ahead.
Everyone and anyone who wants to have a wacky and wonderful time. It doesn't always have to be dark. We don't always deliver the dark. And anyone who wants to see something a little bit fun and pretty stupid.
If you're a crazy person who likes all the chaos, we want you. If you're bored and you don't know how to get into chaos, we want you to. If you're boring and you're trying to look for people to excite your life, we want you to. And pretty much anyone who is to be included, and you're a weirdo already, we definitely want you. Basically, we want anyone who is looking for a unique experience. And it's so off the wall that we couldn't even describe our market, because I can't even describe our brains 85% of the time. So it's basically just bleh.
We like all the things.
We like all the things.
So we do have Night Camp After Hours. That's the best Instagram to follow right now.
Yeah.
Night Camp After Hours. We'll start putting a lot more info on there. And then probably by the time this airs, we'll have the Facebook for Sinister Sisters up and running. It'll kind of explain who we are. We'll be doing a Night Camp page there as well. I'm Elizabeth Aston on all platforms, and
Alyse Autry.
There we go. Miss Alyse Autry as well. And Sinister Sisters is something that we're working on. You'll be able to find us on all the platforms. The next project that we're doing is at another nightclub called Artifice, and we are doing something completely different. And that we're formulating 2 different events that will be bi-weekly, because we like all things bi.
The first one, starting on the 10th, it's Club Millennial. It is all things. It's not just 2000s music. It's also 2000s culture and stupid little inflatable. Those are stupid inflatable chairs with the stupid beaded curtains. That's the vibe. It's kind of throw on your Janko jeans and put in some butterfly clips, and let's try to remember what we tried to forget.
remember the moves to all the boy band
Right.
choreography, and you know, hey, you'll notice already that we like to dress up for different occasions.
A little bit.
We like themes, we like silliness, and so there we go.
And then the other one that we're currently working, we're tooling around with it at the moment. But the other week we're looking kind of at doing a Candy Kid like 90s, not like the like Nirvana 90s. We're talking about like rave time
Party
90s,
monster
party
era.
monster 90s.
Club kids. So celebrating that, we have a very diverse crowd in Vegas so far, and you know, we want to include all types, and so we'll be featuring really interesting performers from all walks of life.
So far,
Like we do it all of them.
so far we've done pretty good.
That's what we've been doing, and so stay tuned for more updates. We'll have video and photos coming. But if you're ever in Vegas, you can check Golden Tiki on the after hours. We start at 2 a.m. when Sunday becomes Monday. You get 40% off if you show any proof of work in Vegas.
To sunrise.
All the way to sunrise. We get really interesting by that. And then Artifice will be our Thursday nights, 10 p.m. till
10 p.m. till late.
Yeah, till late.
Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. What the other week it was 5.
At least actually
was like-
closes.
It
Unlike
closes.
most places in Vegas.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to seeing anyone who wants to join us.
Absolutely. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air about wrapping up. It was a real honor and privilege having you both be on the show. I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And until we meet again, thank you and have a good night.